health warning has been issued for Sydney-siders with dense smoke drifting over the city from bushfires on the mid-north coast. The air quality in some parts of Sydney has dropped to hazardous levels. That was yesterday. Reporter Lily Mayers joins us now from North Sydney. Lily, geez, it looks pretty bad there. What's it like?
Good morning, Joe. It is super hazy here. As you can see behind me, the city is barely visible behind the thick fog and heavy smoke this morning. The Opera House and Centre Point towers have completely disappeared, but the Harbour Bridge is still visible behind me. And the smoke is believed to have drifted down to the city from the mid-north coast, where bushfires have been burning since last week. Now, the New South Wales Health Department says that is unusual for haze to have travelled so far, but it's being pushed by very strong northerly winds.
And so what's the air quality going to be like today?
Today's air quality is forecast to be poor, so the New South Wales Health Department has said if you can smell or see smoke, you're best avoiding outdoor exercise, and especially if you've got a pre-existing medical condition or you are sensitive. Yesterday, as you said, the air quality levels did drop to hazardous, but today, though it is so hazy still already, it is expected to be a clearer day in terms of air quality than yesterday.
Okay, we'll leave it there. Lily Mayers reporting from North Sydney. Time now for a check of the weather, and it's a very good morning to Lara Hyams, who's standing in for Nate, who's off on a bit of a break. Great to see you, Lara. So, wet conditions for parts of Queensland today. Is that likely to continue?
Yeah, well, we've really seen a good soak of Queensland, mainly in the central western parts during the last 24 hours. So we should see some more of that over the next couple of days. The Upper Claude River, that seems to have recorded the most. So that's recording about 50 millimetres in the last 24 hours. And also around Blackall, around the central parts, that received 18 millimetres. So even though that wasn't substantial in terms of what it recorded in the gauges, it actually was the best levels that that particular station had seen in 7 months. And just to give you some context as to sort of why we're discussing this and why this has been such significant news, we had Fairview, which recorded nearly 43 millimetres in that gauge, and the average for that station is just under 20. So it's a real big jump. So you could just sort of see how significant that is and why farmers and people around there are celebrating. We'll still see some showers though, and they'll move on further west. So we could expect some rain mainly over Eastern Channel and Central West District 2s, but lighter falls should be extended into the north of the state. And the reason why that we're seeing all of this is because we've had that upper level trough and some of this onshore flow as well that's been coming off the ocean. So that's had a bit of moisture in those airs, and that's all really combined to give the state a really good drench. Much needed one in that.
Okay, and further south, it's heating up today. 36 in Adelaide, I noticed, and the concern is that there's going to be some pretty strong winds around as well.
Yeah, some concerns around for the south. Let's just start with South Australia, though. We can see that this trough is actually responsible for bringing a lot of the hot air to the area. So basically, those hot winds are really coming from Central Australia, and we're expecting those winds to get up to about 40 to 55 kilometres per hour. So this is mainly over the western and central areas. There is likely to be a wind change a little bit later. So once that happens, there will be some cooler conditions. But in the meantime, because of those hot conditions, there is a severe fire danger, and that's just for several areas in South Australia, mainly around the west coast, mid-north and those surrounds. But the other area of contention this morning is in Victoria. So some really warm conditions there. We can see around here a lot of these northerly winds from above the state is being drawn down, and that's likely to change tonight when they have a wind change too. So Melbourne is expected to get to a top of 35, so it's very warm for this time of year. It won't be a record. It's just be shy of the record at 36, but it's still pretty warm nonetheless.
Yeah, and pretty hot in Tassie too. So around the states and territories today.
Let's kick off in Queensland. Some isolated thunderstorms, patchy rain in parts, and that's likely to continue in the central and interior regions. Some heavy falls and possible storms, and sunny along the border. Let's move further south into New South Wales, partly cloudy. There will be a chance of showers along the north and the ranges. Obviously, we still have that smoke haze about the east in Sydney, fine elsewhere. In Victoria, that early morning fog has lifted over Gippsland, otherwise a hot and dry day across a lot of the state, mostly sunny. And let's go to Tasmania. Fine and partly cloudy. Still quite warm though in the south and the east, and we will see potential gusty winds. That'll be later this afternoon. Moving over to South Australia, some very hot conditions in that state. Fire bans for several parts. Still some strong winds later, and there will be a slight chance of a storm that will be in the far west. In Western Australia, showers along the southern coast. This will be expanding to the Great Southern and Nuclear regions. Possible storms in the southwest too. And lastly, in the Territory, a slight chance of showers and storm in the north. There could be some raised dust about, so just be careful of that. Sunny conditions elsewhere.
Cheers, Lara.